I want to thank everybody for coming here today. The reason we're here today is to call out Brandon Williams, specifically for basically being anti-worker and basically supporting policies that will not help this community, and how Frank Conole is important for all of us, that he is elected to Congress so he can represent all of us, especially us representing workers. And we're going to be hearing from some of those voices today the real world consequences of the decisions and the positions that he has that are just too extreme for Central New York and anti-worker. So the first person we're going to have today is James Mason, Business Manager for the North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters. James.
Morning, everyone. First of all, I'm Jim Mason. I'm also the President of Carpenters Local 277. We represent 2,700 hardworking carpenters right in Central New York. When Micron announced that they picked Clay, New York to build their $100 billion semiconductor facility, I don't think there was any doubt that this would be a game changer in the Central New York area. This project is set to be the largest construction project ever in the Northern Hemisphere. We will be able to put thousands of construction workers to work for decades, not to mention the 50,000 other good-paying jobs that this will create. We will have the opportunity to bring in new apprentices from across Central New York that will be able to work on this project through their apprenticeship and beyond. This project will give our underserved community members a way into the middle class life and even the upper middle class. We were not picked for this project because of luck, as Brandon Williams has said. We got this project by the hard work and bipartisan efforts of our elected officials and community leaders. After the CHIPS and Science Act was signed into law, Brandon Williams called it corporate welfare. We know that a project like this would not be possible had it not been for the CHIPS and Science Act. Micron has said that the CHIPS and Science Act was essential in their decision to make this investment here. We need to continue having great leadership that puts Central New York people ahead of Brandon Williams' partisan politics to represent us in Congress. And that is why we are supporting Francis Conole to represent us in the 22nd Congressional District. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. And again, we want to just point out that Brandon Williams has said publicly that he would not support the CHIPS Act, and now he's trying to fudge his position on this. So really, which is it? Is it the Brandon Williams during the Republican primary, or the Brandon Williams who's trying to basically put a wool over people's eye for the general election? We know who the real Brandon Williams is. And it has real world consequences, especially for workers. So we're going to be bringing up Nick Caruso, who is a second-year apprentice with the United Brotherhood of Carpenters. Yeah, come on. I don't think you're saying.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hi, everybody.
My name is Nicholas Caruso, and I'm a second-year apprentice with the Carpenters Union. I'm looking forward to having a career as a union carpenter with good wages and benefits because of the work that my coworkers and I are doing, learning our trade and providing the highest quality work. We're willing to work anywhere, anytime, and any place, and do it right the first time. I'm excited for Micron to come to Central New York because I know that for the next 20 years, there will be enough work to provide a good middle-class lifestyle for my son and I. However, this big project might not have happened if Brandon Williams was in Congress. Brandon Williams has stated that he wouldn't have voted for the CHIPS and Science Act, and since he won his Republican primary, he's flip-flopping on the issue. He still says, the response seems to be having some resonance, which is, okay, you know, Syracuse got lucky in this regard. We got lucky. We work hard to build this community every day. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's hard work, and we know how to do that in spades. Micron put out a statement that the CHIPS and Science Act was essential in their decision to make the investment in Central New York. The CHIPS and Science Act and those that advocated for it is the reason why I'm going to have a good career through my union. It's also why our community will be better off with Francis Conole as our congressperson, because he understands the needs of working people and will work with anyone to make our community a better place.
Thanks, Nick. Let's hear it for Nick. Now we'd like to bring up the person who will lead this community forward, Francis Conole. Come on up, Francis.
Thank you. Well, first of all, it is wonderful to be here today with our union brothers and sisters who really have not only built the middle class, but have built our region here in Central New York and have built our country. So thank you so much, Mark Spatafor, for organizing this, Jim Mason for speaking, Nick, thank you so much for those words, and to all of our labor leaders present here today, thank you so much for what you do for our community. So my name is Francis Conole. I was born and raised just down the road, and I've seen the challenges that our community has been through over the years. But that was then and this is now, and the arrival of Micron represents a transformational economic development here in our region, the biggest one really in a generation. And it was made possible because of the work of local elected leaders, investments from the federal government, and this public-private synergy working in concert with labor to create the conditions for this incredible investment here. Chuck Schumer, John Katko, Ryan McMahon, Ben Walsh, state and local leaders working together. And it was made possible by the Bi-Partisan CHIPS Act that Congressman Katko voted for, one of only 24 Republicans who voted for this bill. A trait that was consistent over Congressman Katko's 4 terms, what earned him the title as the most bipartisan member of Congress and a friend to labor, I might add. Now, the current Republican nominee, Brandon Williams, could not be more different than Congressman Katko. He comes from the far right of his party, so extreme that Congressman Katko hasn't even endorsed him. Williams actually stated that he is against bipartisanship itself. He opposed the CHIPS Act, wrote an op-ed opposing it. He took specific aim at the moderate Republicans who supported it, calling them rhinos, Republican in name only. Brandon Williams has said he opposes middle-class tax cuts, and he hasn't even reached out to our union brothers and sisters to talk to them and to ask them how we're going to work together to move this region forward. So today, I stand with our union brothers and sisters, with the people of Central New York, to say the future is bright for us. But we're not going to get there from the far reaches of one party. We're going to get there together. And Brandon Williams is not right for Central New York. So thank you all for standing with us today.